Hi guys. Okay, so right now all I have is foundation on my forehead and my brows and my soft ochre paint pot. I don't have anything below my eyes and down because I wanted you to see all the discoloration and stuff that I have in my face, so you can see the difference. If I left my lids dark, then you wouldn't see as much, but you can see the difference that I'm very dark under my eyes. I do have bags also, kind of when you look down, you can see the deep hollows under here. Now, this is my concealer routine if I'm going out and I need my under eyes to look more flawless. On a daily basis, I literally just use a corrector and concealer and then the powder. But for this one, this is like when I'm really needing the under eyes to look good, because on a daily basis, I usually wear my glasses, which kind of hides, it kind of hides the darkness. You can't see as much of the shadowing as when I have it off. So basically, this routine is my more extensive routine if I really need my under eyes to look really bright and, you know, smooth. Which leads me to the reason why I put fillers. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm a promoter of any kind of enhancers, but yes, I'm over 40, and I noticed in my late 30s that I started to look, you know, like things were aging. So I'm going to insert a photo that shows what I looked like at 38. And I know it was 38 because I hadn't had my last son yet, and I had him at 39. So the picture, actually, you can see the really the bags under my eyes, and that's when I already had like complete full concealer routine on, and it still looked, you know, bad to me. So I decided when I turned 40, I was gonna finally try something, and so I did do Restylane under the eyes, which filled it up, and it just made it look really smooth. So it definitely worked for me. And then people ask me if I have fillers in my lips. Yes, I have had fillers in my lips, but if you can see the video or the picture, I already did have full lips, but I just wanted them a little fuller on the outside, so I just kind of got around the border and then a little bit plumped up more on the bottom. So I already had lips, but I just put a little bit more. So that's what I'm gonna do again, and that's why I'm doing this video, because next week is my 44th birthday. So 4 years after I did it the first time, I'm doing it again. And this time my twin sister is going to do it with me. So that's why I figured I would do this little concealer routine, so you can kind of see the steps that I go through pretty much to smooth out my eyes. And it's very hard when you have more mature skin, because now it's starting to get fine lines under my eyes, and the more I put on, the cakier it gets. So I need it. Now, if you're in your 20s, even 30s, you really don't have that problem. So just a concealer and maybe corrector for darkness, but just a little bit concealer would work. So definitely until I turned almost 40 years old is when I finally said, hey, you know what, I want to do something. So that's why I'm being honest and saying, because the next time you see me, I probably will look a little different. So I figured, hey, maybe I should just put it out there that that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to get just one syringe, and I'm going to have it put a little Restylane, and that's when the last time I did my lips, I did Juvederm, but you can't put Juvederm in your eyes. So I'm doing Restylane. So I'm going to put the Restylane just to plump up a little bit on the here, and then I'm going to put a little bit more on the outer part of my lips, and then I'm also going to put some right here in my smile lines just to kind of plump up these little lines right here. So I've never had Botox before, and I definitely probably need that as well. I'm starting to get the little creases in here, but right now it's just going to be one syringe of Restylane to smooth out my eyes, plump up my little lines here, and plump up my lips a little bit more. And normally people would do a full syringe in your lips and full syringe in your eyes. I'm doing just one syringe, just to splitting it between all of it, because I don't need that much, but I just want to touch it up a little bit, because knowing that I'm like, oh my God, 6 years away from 50, that's crazy to me, because I still think I'm in my 20s. I mean, it's just, you know, age is just a number. So I definitely don't see myself as almost 50 years old, but hey, we live in an age where we can kind of prevent anything. So I definitely aged gracefully, but now I'm just doing little tweaks just to enhance. So anyways, now you'll see the steps that I do. That is the reason why I want to do what I'm going to do. Okay, so the first thing I do is I'm going to take, and I have multiple, I mean, I'm going to show you guys. I have like so many like concealers, like so many different styles, palettes, like I've tried everything for concealer, but I just play around with different stuff. So my favorite ones that I've found is the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and it's just like a peach corrector. So this one is going to go right just where I'm dark, and it's just right there. And then I'm going to take a little buffing brush. Oh, and by the way, I do have eye cream on, so that's the only thing I have underneath my eyes is eye cream. So I'm just going to buff that in a little bit, and this just kind of takes away the darkness under my eyes. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is take a brightener, and this is from Becca. This is the Under Eye Brightening Concealer, and I'm going to take that with my little, it's actually a foundation brush from Real Techniques. It's called Petite Foundation, but I love it for concealer because it's so small. So I'm going to put it like right under my eyes in like a little triangle form, just right in the inner part where I'm really dark, or where I would be the darkest. And then that's why, as you can see, the more steps I do, the cakeier it gets, and it, you know, it's harder to look like it's natural. So I don't want to have to do all these steps anymore, but I'm just showing you what I do. Or if you do have these problems and you don't want to get anything, I'm just using my little, this is my Morphe little sponge. And if you don't want to do any kind of, you know, filler or anything like that, then just maybe you can follow these steps and it would help you. Because it definitely works for me. It's just I don't like to have to do it if I don't have to. Do you know what I mean? So, and I just thought, me and my sister, she never had hers done, so you'll see the difference because we are going to film it. So I'm going to show you the difference of her eyes before, which is obviously we're twins. My eyes would have been like hers because I did mine. Like I said, I did mine. The picture that I showed was 6 years ago because was my nephew's 16th birthday, and he's going to be 22 in a couple months. So that was 6 years ago. So that's before I had it done. So you can definitely see it. So then I had it done 2 years later. So I know it's 40 when I did it, and now I'll be 44. So from when I did it to now, it's still pretty smooth when you see it compared to my sister's. So she really wanted hers done. So I just said, hey, I'm going to do it with you again. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my actual concealer, which is the Tarte Shape Tape. And then I like the color Light. And I'm going to just draw a couple lines down. And I also put it next to my nose because that way it kind of helps with the contouring as well. But notice it's kind of like in a triangular shape because it's going to highlight as well at the same time. So then I'm going to take my same Petite concealer brush and just kind of, I'm just patting. I'm not trying to rub the stuff away. I'm just patting it in. And then going up the side of my nose. And usually I would have my foundation on first before I do this for the bottom part, but I'll just kind of blend it together after. But usually I like to have my foundation on first and then just go ahead and put this on. But just because this is just a concealer routine, I'm just showing you the concealer. And then go back with your little sponge. This one's from Morphe. I love this little kind of flat. It's actually very similar to the Real Technique one. This is tiny, it needs to be washed, but they both have that flat edge, which I really like, but this one's even like a sharp edge. I love it for like contouring. It fits right under the eye too, So that's that. The last step that I do, which already that's like, wow, you do all these steps. I do one more step, and that's the erase paste from Benefit. I use the color number 1 Fair, and it's just this little pot, and I use a little detailer brush from Real Techniques, teeny tiny little head, and I just dip it in there. It's a brightening little concealer, and then I tilt my head down, and that's when you can see that hollow, and I just go right there in the hollow. So you don't want to go above it, you don't want to go below it, because you really want to just cast the shadow when it looks up. It literally takes away that hollow spot, like that. And then very gently tap in and blend it in. And that kind of creates like the shadowing from the bag. It's like filled in. So that's kind of what the filler's gonna do for me, is fill in that little hollow. And the only thing obviously with fillers is around the eye, is you get some kind of little bruising or whatever, but for me it didn't last very long. But obviously when you can conceal it, it's fine. And so that's it for the concealer part of it. But now I just kind of tapping it around. The warmth of your finger actually kind of really melts the product into the skin as well. So now before I powder that, I'm gonna take just a little spray, and you can use any spray. I got the Photo Finish Primer Water, which I really love. I kind of use this one throughout my makeup, like when my skin starts to feel dehydrated. So I'm just gonna like spray that on and just kind of melt that into the skin as well. And now I'll set my concealer. So as in many of my videos, I use the Manna Kadar brightening powder, C2 yellow. I'm gonna take this MAC 192 brush, and I'm just gonna put it in the powder. And this one I'm just gonna press. I'm just gonna press it on just to set that concealer so nothing moves. It's literally just, if you wipe it, then it's gonna all just move away. So I'm literally just pressing it on so it go up the side of the nose too. And like I said, normally I would have done my foundation already, because now I have the powder and I'm gonna put a wet foundation here, but just for the sake of the video, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this just to show you all this, because I'm not gonna do any of my face on camera. You've already seen I do have a foundation routine, so it kind of shows all these same steps, but this is just more detailed with more concealer. Like I said, I don't normally do all these steps, but this is my like ultimate concealer routine if I need my eyes to look really like awake and pretty much flawless. Flawless for me. Like I said, I'm not flawless. That's why I'm gonna get freaking fillers. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is just take this little brush from Luxie, and this is the 181 brush. It's double-ended. And I'm just gonna now dust that away. So dust away what's not set, because everything was set, but this is so light. It's like a little duo fiber brush that I could just lightly dust away the excess that's kind of sitting on the top of that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take the new Patrick Star collaboration with MAC, his the pressed powder, the setting powder. It's very pinky, I noticed. I'm gonna take it with that little flat edge, and I'm gonna bake under my eyes. So I'm just gonna press it. So yeah, now you see I have two powders under here, which for someone that has, fine lines, that's not a good thing. So that's why I, again, don't like to have to do all, I want it to be smoother, because I do use the powders under my eyes for baking and everything. So now I'm just gonna let that sit under there while I do my eyes. And I guess I'm just gonna finish my whole face, because this was just a concealer routine. So then I'll come back and I will show you everything completed. Okay, so I pretty much have my whole face except for my mascara under my eyes. And now I'm just gonna dust away the baking powder because I wanted to leave that on, because the last step that I do, I already have my blush on, but if you've watched my videos before, you know I use like a little iridescent powder, kind of smooth out the blush that I had put on. So I'm going to use the Radiant Light from the Hourglass little trio here. It's the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powders. And basically I'm just going to dust around the blush, and it just kind of smooths it out and really just kind of gives a little iridescence to the skin. And I do like that under the eyes as well. It makes it really soft, and there's just like a little bit of a, not shimmer, but like just like a radiance. Like in the light you can see it like reflecting. It's really pretty. So I definitely like to do that. Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and spritz my Slay All Day in Peach. That sets finally all the powders that I've set on there. Okay, so the highlighter I'm going to use today is just MAC's Soft and Gentle. I'm going to put a little bit of that on the tip of my nose, down that nose. And then I'm going to take my other bigger brush. This is the Anastasia, or this is the Morphe R36. Go on the top of the cheekbones. I already did my lips, oops. Now let me just put a little mascara under my eyes and I'm done. So, and I always like to put the mascara, I'm using the MAC Hot and Naughty. This is the 2 black lash one. The other one has like bright pink one here. This is the blackest one. I'm just gonna put this on really quick. Okay, so I just took my little clips out of my hair and that's it. I mean, it looks really bright and it actually feels really smooth under my eyes. It's a lot of steps, but that's what I had to do to get this kind of smooth look. So next Tuesday, actually, I will be filming our trip to VIP plastic surgery in Henderson and here in Las Vegas. And I'm going to get the filler in my lips and under my eyes and in my smile lines. So so my sister's gonna get hers done as well. So if she lets me film some of it, we'll get a little bit of footage of her as well. So hopefully everything turns out good, and that will be my next video. So hopefully you guys stay tuned for that, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching.